chocolate rain. Some stay dry and others feel the pain. Chocolate rain. I don't remember any more of the lyrics.
Don't you?
I don't. That's all I remember.
That's kind of disappointing.
All I remember is clean the sewers out beneath Mumbai. That's all that I remember.
Well, now, I'll get us away from this disappointingness. Hey, everybody, welcome to episode 10 of the No Holds Barred podcast.
Woohoo!
Episode 10.
Number 10.
This is going high scale.
I'm telling you, we hit double digits. And there have literally been, hundreds of thousands of other podcasts that have hit 10 episodes. But you know what? We're treating it like the landmark that it is.
Yes,
We did it.
We did it.
We did it.
It's all because of you.
It's all because of you. We've had a longer shelf life than the penny will have from here on out. But before we get into any of the topics that we want to talk about on today's podcast, we would be remiss if we did not mention our wrestling podcast, of course.
Yes.
Our first two episodes have actually got pretty good traction. Episode 1, I think, has 42 views on it, and episode 2 has 20, I think. So that's,
We're going good.
Average to, it's comparable to what we've done on the other podcasts. Please check it out. If you're watching us on YouTube, of course, that is a YouTube exclusive podcast for us. So go and check it out on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/noholdsbarredpodcast. And check out the wrestling podcast. The first two episodes have really been sort of Royal Rumble dedicated, but we're going to be branching out into other things in the coming weeks. We want to talk a little TNA and maybe even talk some Ring of Honor or something like that. Yeah. So go ahead, check out the wrestling podcast Last Fan Standing on our YouTube channel.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The show where everything's made up and points don't matter.
Exactly. What TV show used to have that? Everything's made up and the points don't matter. Oh, yeah. It was fucking Whose Line Is It Anyway? Drew Carey.
Yes. I've watched a whole bunch of that lately.
Oh, did you?
Just coming back with, hilarity.
Nice. Didn't they restart that show? Or weren't they talking about maybe restarting that show?
I think they were talking about it, but it never happened.
But it never happened?
No.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, of course, we can't move on until we do the other No Holds Barred podcast tradition of cracking the beer. So here we go for your listening pleasure. Cracking. We both have the same beer this time.
Same regular Budweiser.
Regular Budweiser, King of Beers, 341 ml bottles.
There we go.
And here we go.
I didn't bring you down any crappy
light lime beer.
Lime. I wanted you to get the full effect and be awesomeness on the radio.
Yeah, well, shut up. Don't make fun of my lime beer, sir.
I don't.
Even better was hitting the microphone with my bottle of beer, which may have ruined that whole sound. But you know what? The hell with it.
I don't know. I heard it good except for the twang of your beer cap.
Yeah, a little bit.
So, what can you do?
Oh, that's tasty. So we get a little beer in us, and off we go. So today on the No Holds Barred podcast, we got a couple of things we're going to talk about. What we have noticed is that we've noticed that, at least through our YouTube analytics, people only seem to be listening to the first 10 minutes of our podcast.
Pretty much.
You sons of bitches. You got to listen longer than that.
But I mean, if anybody got the attention span like I do,
well,
it's like plastic bag.
Yeah, plastic bag, plastic bag, plastic bag, plastic bag, plastic bag. Who likes cheese? So yeah, fair enough. But what we thought we would do is we would take a segment that we usually save for the end of the podcast and do it first.
Exactly, because it's the most funnest.
Exactly, and
I think.
And if you're only listening to the first 8 minutes, we want you to get the good stuff. So we're going to start with our award-winning, every show constant segment, which is the CraigsList segment. We should really get somebody to do like a theme song or something for the CraigsList.
We're putting it out there. If you want to do a theme song to our CraigsList segment, just do it.
Yeah, exactly. Do it. Send it to us.
Send us an email even. I mean, it'd be awesome.
Exactly. I think it would really go over well. So all the musicians out there, get your game faces on. All right, so we're going to start with the Craigslist segment. If you haven't heard us before and you don't know what this is, the Craigslist segment, we take a look at the casual encounters section of the Halifax website for Craigslist. Why? Because the ads are hilarious. And we just like to make fun of these guys pretending to be girls posting ads about looking for sex on Craigslist. Or, as you'll see in the final ad we talk about, not asking for sex at all.
Oh.
But asking for other creepy things. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off with an ad here that is entitled Spank Me. So she's putting it right on Front Street.
She is.
She's putting it right on Front Street, what she's looking for there. And it's by a 19-year-old girl, wink, wink, who says, I'm a younger girl. Well, you've established that by posting that you're 19. Looking for an older, as in 50 plus. But she doesn't say an older what.
I know.
She's like looking for an older as in 50 plus.
So it could be a girl, a dog, a Martian,
a lawnmower. Like it could be anything, really.
Yeah,
as long as it's more than 50 years old.
Anything with 50 plus on it.
Good Lord. So I'm a younger girl looking for an older as in 50 plus to give me a good hard spanking. And then in brackets, she has caning, belting, paddling, and if you're into the whole BDSM thing, I encourage you to take your pants off at this portion of the podcast. And then she ends it off by saying, MSG if serious. So MSG, of course, as you know, is internet speak for message.
Yeah.
But MSG, so she wants you to take the preservative that they put in Chinese food if you're serious. She doesn't tell you what she wants you to do with it. She just wants you to have it. MSG if serious. Maybe she wants it to be sprinkled all over her bare bottom during the spanking to preserve it.
Quite possibly.
Or maybe it's also possible MSG could stand for Madison Square Garden.
Ooh,
maybe you got to
right
go all the way
there.
to New York to spank this bitch. And
I don't know. Maybe it's a show.
Maybe it's a show. Yeah, dinner and a show. You actually have to get up on stage and spank this 19-year-old girl. Wink, wink. Anyways, this is a perfect example of the silliness and stupidity that we find of ads on Craigslist. Luckily, we have 4 more that we're going to talk about, so the insanity does not end there. We're going to move to the next ad, which may be the sluttiest ad that I have ever seen on Craigslist, and that is saying something. Looking for letter 4, the letter 4 and the number L. Looking for number 4, sex right now, all in caps, which leads you to believe that, okay, this is definitely a guy because no woman speaks in all caps no matter what. So looking for sex right now, 26 from downtown.
Downtown.
You got an extra N on the end of downtown there. I'm going to get straight to the point. Well, thank you, honey. My time is precious, despite the fact that your ad is probably the longest Craigslist ad I've ever seen in my life. My man is at work, and he doesn't fuck me right.
He doesn't.
He doesn't, all right. So
he doesn't enough that you doesn't know how to spell.
Exactly.
You're so pissed that he doesn't fuck you right that you don't know how to spell.
She's so pissed and sexually frustrated that she just loses all cognitive abilities. Except for the website to Craigslist.
Damn.
Yes. My man is at work and he doesn't fuck me right, so I need some cock. No capitalization, no periods, no nothing, anything. She is too horny to even bother typing properly. So I guess this is the kind of person we're dealing with.
Hey.
But where the ad gets really interesting is here. This is how it will happen. Setting the stage.
Okay.
It's a dark and stormy night. The headless horseman gallops in the distance. I'll give you my address, so you're looking to get murdered. The door will be unlocked. You come in, and I'll be waiting, bending over on the bed naked.
I'm sure you will.
I bet you. Bow, chicka, wow, wow.
Or else, here's another scenario. The door be on lock. You come in, I'll be waiting with a shotgun.
Yeah.
To steal your fucking money.
This really, really, really seems like It's probably a cop. It seems like this just seems too good to be true. Yes, I may sound like a slut, but anyone who replies will get some of my pussy. So in other words, the second guy that goes in is getting the clap. No question about it. Just know if there's a hat on my door to wait in your car until he leaves, and then you may enter. More details when you email me.
What, the boyfriend or the first guy that walked in? What is going on?
This is a fantastic question. Apparently, somehow, when the first guy comes in, despite the fact that she says she's going to be bent over the bed, somehow she's going to ninja her way over to put a hat on the door before anyone realizes what's happening, and then go back to the bed. Just don't worry. Just if there's a hat on the door, just wait in your car for the gang of guys to come and pull you out of your car and rob you, because it's the city and that's what happens. Yes, this is real. I'm just a really horny girl.
Yeah, I'm sure it is real.
Who are you trying to convince here? You're trying to convince us, or you're trying to convince yourself? Send me an email with how good you'd fuck me. Is there anyone in the world that thinks this is actually a woman? There's no way. No woman speaks like this. Come on, guys. Come on. Pics and put fuck in email topic. See you soon, XO kisses.
Seriously, XO kisses?
XO kisses. So kiss, hug, kisses? Because isn't that what XO stands for? Isn't it kiss, hug?
Yeah.
So kiss, hug, kisses. So she's going to kiss you, she's going to hug you once, and then she's going to kiss you a whole bunch of other times. Despite the fact that she's bent over, so her face is facing the other way. Moving on. Let's see. No, I don't think we'll bother doing that one. Although this one's kind of funny because it's curvy. She says that she's curvy, but she's actually curvy.
Curvy.
She's also shy, but she can be really loud in a good way. No drama. Don't want no drama. No drama. So we're gonna get rid of that one. This one is titled 69 Game, 69 Game, 69 Game NSA. 69 game, 69 game, 69 game, NSA. Sounds like a G Unit song. All right. I'm looking for a sexy guy to use and have fun with. You will be required to fulfill this role just by reading the... Well, fuck. We're screwed. We have to do it. Just by reading the ad, you are required to fulfill this role, which consists of kinky play and light spanking.
Ooh.
Maybe we should introduce you to the first girl.
Maybe she would like it.
Maybe.
I don't know. They seem like a good match.
They seem like they're a good fit. You must be between the age of 18 and 60. So this one's got her standards.
That's a pretty wide selection.
I ain't got to do this for just anybody. You got to be between 18 and 60.
Wow.
So it's like, you got to be old enough to be able to get your own job, but I don't want no pensioners. Good Lord. And must have the right attitude, like to dress up or be dressed and push limits. Okay, so, but this is the idea. She says kinky play and light spanking. How is that pushing anyone's limits? Isn't everybody like at least a little bit kinky?
I guess, yeah.
We should, you know what? We should have our friend from high school there, who's the sex therapist, on the podcast sometime.
We should.
That'd be if we can ask her that question. Isn't everybody at least a little bit kinky? Like,
I don't know. I guess there's some people out there that, are pretty straight-laced and they don't do that type of shit.
Nick's pretty kinky.
It's in everybody's mind.
That's fair enough. Nick's got me dressed up in leather right now. Which, if you're not watching our Ustream, you don't know whether that's true or false. And the last CraigsList ad of the segment. And this is the one that we really wanted to get to because, it's not the typical CraigsList ad that you see in this section of the site.
No, it's pretty normal.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, hello. What's up? I'm waiting for you to say you need cock. You didn't say it in the first 3 words. Just thought I'd see what's out there today.
Well, okay.
Okay, right on. I'm off the next few days, and I thought I'd see if anyone wanted to chill and grab a drink sometime this week.
Well, that's nice. I like coffee.
I like coffee. Go for a beer. I'm still waiting for you to say you want cock. Not looking to get laid.
Oh.
I don't think you understand the purpose of Craigslist. But then she says the single best line that I've ever heard on Craigslist. I mean, I'm female. I don't need Craigslist for that. Thank you. We have a winner. It's probably the only actual female that's on Craigslist. We have a winner. You are the champion, and you'll keep on fighting till the end. Looking for conversation, fun times, potential future hubby. Ugh.
Potential future hubby.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Oh.
Do not try to find a potential future husband on Craigslist, my dear.
That equals bad.
But then she follows it up with, no big thing. No big deal. Just looking for my future husband. No big deal.
No big deal.
It's
fine. It's a flesh wound.
It's fine. It's like the European guy on the train in Eurotrip. That every time they go through a tunnel, he's like more and more naked and like touching people. And he's like, "Oh, mi scusi, not a big deal. Just looking for a potential future husband." I'm short, pudgy. I love that term. I love the term pudgy. It's just so cute.
The term pudgy, is that like, it isn't like fat?
No,
but it's just...
It feels like it should be somewhere on Gabriel Iglesias' scale of fatness. Right? Because he's
you got
fat, healthy, husky, fluffy, and damn.
Damn, yeah.
And then I think the last one is, oh, hell no. But like pudgy feels like it should be in there somewhere.
It should.
Whatevs. Adorable, fun, spontaneous, financially comfortable. I'm liking where this is going. And then she's like, sexually adventurous. It's like, well, you got to put it somewhere. It's an ad on Craigslist.
I guess, yeah.
I don't think they let you post the ad if you don't say sex somewhere. Laid back chick with no babies.
No that's
drama.
Good.
You know what? I think this is the perfect woman. I think you need to go on the Halifax Craigslist and find this girl's ad, and everybody needs to message her, because I think this is absolutely the perfect woman, aside from the fact that she's looking for a potential future husband on Craigslist. That's the end of the Craigslist segment, everybody. Yay!
Yay!
So for those of you that
got through another one.
Exactly. So for those of you that only listened to the first 10 minutes, well, we went a little over. Jeez, we're already almost at 20 minutes. Jesus Christ.
God damn.
All right, so we got to plow through the rest of this stuff.
Ooh.
We quickly wanted to make mention of the fact that we're Canadians, and don't hold that against us. Shut up. And today is the last day, it's the last day that pennies will actually be circulated. Pennies, if you don't know, obviously 1 cent pieces, makes sense. That wasn't even a pun, but there we go.
It does make sense.
It worked. And they're not going to be circulated by banks anymore. And I know people were calling for this for a few years, that they were just like, they're 1 cent pieces and they're not really good for anything and blah, 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 blah. I was like, well, they're still legal tender. Like, they're still...
Yeah.
My problem with the whole idea of getting rid of pennies is it leaves such a gray area for businesses that, like, if you're paying in cash, they tell you, like, oh, well, if it's 1 or 2 cents, what the places will do is round down. I'm like, oh yeah, I bet a fucking capitalist organization is going to round down.
They're not going to do that.
They're not going to give you even 2 cents.
Like, you need to lose revenue now.
No, exactly. So I mean, if something comes up to $18.01, do not be surprised one little bit if they make you pay 18 and a nickel. Just because I believe it's up to every individual business's discretion what they decide to do. I mean, if it was me, I would round it down because I don't care. But most of these places are not going to be doing that. I honestly don't think that people have thought far enough ahead about this. The whole reason that the government wanted to get rid of the penny is they say it costs them 1.6 cents per penny to make them.
Oh, really?
Apparently. So they're like, hey, we're losing money by doing this. And if we don't mint any more pennies, we can save, I think it was like $12 million a year. And I was like, okay, on paper, that sounds great. But I don't know. It still doesn't make a ton of sense to me.
I know.
And that wasn't intended as a pun. That was actually SENSE.
Yeah. No, it's kind of weird. I mean, we grew up with the penny. It's always been around. Mm-hmm. It's always been there, like penny candies and shit like that. I mean, what are they going to do now for penny candies?
Nickel candies.
No.
Hey, I don't know.
That's going to be crap.
It's going to be real. It's going to be real crap.
I mean, then now I hate it because I can't finish my penny collection.
Yeah, I know, but like, think about how fucking collectible that penny collection's going to be in, I don't know, 300-400 years. You might have a whole dollar.
I know. Well, I got a whole dollar now in pennies in my collection.
You'll have a whole $2. Hey, man, it doubled in value.
God knows, I'm going all the way from the 40s up to 2000. So
apparently, the most valuable penny was a certain kind of penny from 1930 that was worth like $400,000.
Oh yeah,
which seems stupid to me, but then again, I'm not a collector.
I don't know how it works.
I just like watching Auction Hunters.
That's a good show.
That's a good show.
I like it.
I like all those auction shows, and I don't really care that people are just like, oh, they're fake and they're staged. Yeah, maybe, but I don't care. I'm entertained. Yeah, I don't really give a shit whether they're staged or not. They do a good enough job of keeping up the illusion. So whatever.
It's a good illusion.
It's a good illusion. So
it makes me want to do it.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's like we have storage auctions around here once in a blue moon, and sometime if we get a couple $100 together or something, pool our money together and go up and buy a storage locker and see if we make any money at it, and run up some people's bets or bids and just be assholes. We can all be Dave Hester if we try hard enough. Yeah, that's a Storage Wars reference there for you. Fuck, I hate it.
I could do that every day.
You should do that at McDonald's. Just be like, can I have a double quarter pounder with cheese? Double quarter pounder with cheese. The starting bid at $10. $10 where? I got $10 there. 15 where? 15 where? 15 where? 15 going once. Oh, 15. I got you 15 there. I got you 20. 20 going once. 20 going to. Sold it your way. $20.
The only thing that's bad with that is I work in the back.
Fuck. Well, you just got to start working up front, sir. You just got to start being a cashier and working with the fucking dick customers.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's why you left the call center, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't want to deal with people.
No,
I want to be in the back spitting food and.
Exactly. That's why I don't go to McDonald's anymore.
I don't actually do that.
No, I know. Only once a day. All right, so yeah. In conclusion, losing the penny is ass.
Yep.
Super Bowl happened yesterday.
Whoa, Super
Bowl.
The one time where I'll actually watch football.
And you know, it's kind of crazy to me how many people have said the exact same thing. It's just like, this is the only game of the year that I'll actually watch. And I was like, well, you know, I guess if you're gonna watch one game, that's the game to watch. But yeah. Just like you don't get the richness of the story and everything like that if you don't live it. But
yeah, but I can't. I don't know football. I mean, I've never really followed it. I don't know the rules.
Right.
And the only really thing that I've learned about football is either from watching the Big Bang Theory,
right,
where Sheldon describes the scrimmage line and shit like that, and then watching one game of football.
Well,
it's like this is my knowledge.
this is what I know, and this is what I use to get through my day. Well, yeah, no, fair enough. So yeah, Super Bowl went down yesterday. Obviously, everybody that pays any attention to like my videos or knows much about me or anything like that knows I'm a really big football fan. So I look forward to the Super Bowl every year. This is the first year in a couple of years where, unfortunately, I didn't get to go to a Super Bowl party this year because Tony and Cheryl, who usually do our party, are out in Alberta. So we didn't really get the chance to have a party this year, and I wasn't even really feeling it. I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna veg out. So yeah, this is the first year in it's got to be 4 or 5 that we didn't have sort of a big, and it's usually like a big like poker tournament and stuff like that we usually do. But
sounds fun.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's a relatively big gathering. But the game was still really good. The game was probably one of the best games of football that I've watched every year. And if you're gonna go big for a game, obviously you want to go big for the Super Bowl. So the Baltimore Ravens, who won the AFC Championship, defeated the San Francisco 49ers, who won the NFC Championship 34-31.
Yes.
Now, you watched this game, correct? As you said?
I did.
Can I get your expert impressions of what happened in the game? You don't have to do like a play-by-play. Just like, what parts of the game did you like?
I like the
cheerleaders.
Actually, you didn't see many cheerleaders.
You didn't really,
and
did you?
And it's bad because, I mean, it's the Super Bowl. Bring out the cheerleaders.
Exactly.
Where were they?
I don't know. There were some on the sidelines, but from the cheerleaders that I saw, none of them looked overly attractive.
Well, that's true.
I'm like, oh, you must have some negative crops there in Baltimore and San Francisco, but I
mean, there was a 97-yard touchdown that was run. 107.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Initially it was a punt return by Jacoby Jones for Baltimore, and initially it was ruled 109 yards, which would have set an NFL all-time record. That's literally pretty well as long as you can run, because your end zone is about 10 yards deep.
Yeah.
So from the back of your end zone to your opponent's end zone is about 109, 110 yards. And so initially it was ruled 109. I think later they reversed it and they put it back to 108. So it doesn't get the NFL record, I don't think. They may have gone back and changed it again. But that punt return was a thing of beauty.
It was.
It was right after halftime. It was right at the beginning of the third quarter. And the game was still sort of manageable at that point. I think it was 21-6. So it's not a close game, but it's still, manageable. But then Jacoby Jones runs that punt back, and it's just like Baltimore's going to start running away with this thing.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Out goes the power. They had a power outage at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans. The stadium is named after Mercedes. How much money do you think Mercedes-Benz has, and they couldn't pay the fucking power bill?
I tell you, it's amazing that the power went out, but like the cameras and everything still work perfectly.
Yeah,
you would think that they would be tied some way into their power.
Funny how that works, isn't it?
Yeah,
but it's just like it's like the grid for half the building went out, so it was just like, I guess the cameras on one side of the building wouldn't work, and the cameras on the other side of the building did. I don't know.
No way of knowing.
No, exactly, and no way of knowing exactly how that happened. But I love the internet is such a creative place sometimes, because pretty well as soon as that happened, if you took to social media like Facebook or Twitter or something like that, everybody was coming up with explanations as to why it was happening. People were saying that it was a pissed off 49ers fan, that they were losing the game so badly that he threw himself into a power grid and electrocuted and killed himself or something. Because he's like, 49ers.
Why?
Exactly.
Why?
Some people thought that. Some people thought it was Sean Payton, who's the head coach for the New Orleans team, who was suspended for all of this season.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if you're going to suspend me for a year, I'm going to get my payback by knocking out the power at the Super Bowl. Other people thought it was The Undertaker, which was great.
that would have been awesome.
You know what? The pro wrestling fan in me immediately was just like, the power went out. I was waiting to hear either Undertaker's theme or Brock Lesnar or The Shield or something like that. And so like I just like it really leads into why I'm such a fucking pro wrestling nerd. Really, it's just like as soon as something like that happens, I was related to like, I bet this is a wrestling storyline somehow, and who's going to come out and what's going to happen, and everybody looks at me like, "What are you, a fucking retard?" Like, that was my Alan impression from Hangover. He's a retard. He's a what? A retard, not a retard. A retard.
Nice.
That's a great movie. Yeah, so the power goes out in the middle of the biggest game of the year. Yep. Really, really funny. It was out for like 35 minutes.
Basically.
And then when the power comes back on, Baltimore just looks like they took naps. Like they played like ass for the second half of that game. And San Fran damn near came back on them.
Oh yeah.
I mean, well, you look at the final score, 34-31.
Yep.
It was 34-29 with it was less than 2 minutes left. It was after the 2-minute warning, and Baltimore had to punt. Actually, there was less than there was only like 12 seconds left or something like that. So Baltimore had to punt, but what they did was rather than punting, they snapped the ball and the punter had the ball and the punter ran around in the end zone to kill a bunch of the clock. Ended up taking what's called a safety, which is when a player gets sacked in their own end zone. They give up 2 points to the opposing team and they have to kick it to them when a safety happens. So it was kind of cool. Punter killed like 8 of the 12 seconds or something, and then just had to kick it off to them and make one tackle, and then they won the Super Bowl, which was kind of cool. But I tell you something, San Fran, if that game had another 2 minutes in it, San Fran was winning the Super Bowl. There's no question about it. They were really pouring it on at that point. But big ups to both teams. The Ravens played really, really well in the first quarter. San Fran played dynamite in the second quarter, or second half rather. And it ended up being one of the more memorable Super Bowls of all time, really. Ray Lewis, of course, ends his career with 2 Super Bowl rings, and the internet, of course, blew up because of. Did you read or hear anything about Ray Lewis? Like back in the day when Ray Lewis won his first Super Bowl, that night after the game, he and a couple of his friends were involved in an altercation outside a nightclub with a couple of other guys, and 2 of the other guys ended up stabbed to death.
Oh, really?
So like a bunch, all 3, him and a couple of his buddies were all arrested on it, and he took a plea bargain and pled guilty to, I think, obstruction of justice or something, because he gave a misleading statement to a police officer about the incident or whatever. Yeah. So he didn't face any jail time, and it's yet to be proven who actually killed them. But the internet, of course, takes that and fucking blows up like, Ray Lewis doesn't deserve the ring. He's a murderer. Ray Lewis killed people and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, and quite frankly, I
don't know.
Exactly. Even though I'm a Ravens fan, I'm like, look, you can have all the circumstantial evidence in the world that you want. Yeah. And you can infer whatever you want from the circumstantial evidence. At the end of the day, it's still inferences. It's still, you don't know exactly what happened. But I mean, again, that kind of has a shadow hanging over the whole thing. But Ray Lewis retires with 2 Super Bowl rings. Baltimore Ravens Super Bowl champions. Baltimore Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco won the MVP.
Yay.
And Beyonce performed the halftime show.
She did.
Got me looking so crazy right now in love.
And I mean,
that was slightly better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Sorry.
At the beginning of it, I'm like, is she going to sing?
Yeah, is she going to actually sing, or is she going to lip sync?
Yeah, is her music going to play and the background singers that are probably just recording going to go, and she's going to be like, clap your hands. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, clap your hands. Yeah.
And you know what? For part of it, that was what it was. When she was doing like the dancing and everything like that. But that's not so much what the thing about it is. The thing that really gets me is when you have performing artists who are on stage with a microphone, have the microphone in front of their faces, and are making the mouth movements like they're singing, but it's pre-recorded behind them. Like, just the whole, like, straight up lip sync thing. That just really bugs me. It's like, what's the point? Why not just not take the microphone and just dance? Just do your dance like you're going to. The song's playing in the background. Just do it that way. Don't try to get one up on people that, like, I'm gonna lip sync, but I'm gonna do it so good that nobody's gonna know. Like, it's 2013. Not only are people gonna know, they're gonna get on the internet and carve you a new one.
Yeah, basically.
Like, what is the point of doing this? Like, and they did this to Beyonce a few weeks ago when Barack Obama, the president of the United States, was sworn in for a second term. That's exactly what Beyonce did. She lip-synced the friggin' national anthem. The national anthem, sir. It's messed up.
It's something that you just, like, don't do.
You just,
even, like, in hockey games and shit like that. I mean, people can be horrible at singing that.
Well, look at Roseanne. Roseanne Barr, who famously sang, I think it was the national anthem, at a Cubs game, and was like, "I'm the home," and it's just like, oh my god,
just suck it up and sing it.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how bad it is. Just it comes from the heart.
Exactly. Just
it doesn't matter how good or synchronized or friggin' what kind of filters you got on it.
Mm-hmm.
How compressed it is, how nicely it sounds. It doesn't have that, like, beat in the background of it.
Jose, can you see? Like, it doesn't have to be the hip hop remix of the national anthem. But just like, to me it's inexcusable for a singer to lip sync a national anthem. But in any case, that whole controversy kind of blew over, and she did do some singing at the Super Bowl halftime show. I also actually called the Destiny's Child reunion, but I did not know beforehand.
Did you?
But like, as soon as she came out, I was just like, I bet you Destiny's Child is going to show up. And the other two bitches pop up out of the floor, and they start singing, "I must survive." I don't know, they sang one of their other ones, or I can't remember what it was. But in any case, so I do like to say I called the Destiny's Child reunion. But yes, so the Super Bowl and football season, of course, has come and gone for another year. Woohoo! Yay! Now nobody's going to have any reason to watch my YouTube channel. Aww. What am I going to do? Guess I'll just have to do other awesome videos. Exactly. Self-promotion. Gotta love it. So we've had something on our slate here to talk about for a couple of weeks, and we just haven't gotten around to it. We've been doing other things and talking about other things, and we just haven't gotten a chance to actually talk a little bit about it. So I wanted to get it done and get it out there so that it's not on the schedule for another 2 weeks.
Okay.
And this is it was an article that we found online that talked about the 8 college and university degrees with the worst return on investment. And the science behind it is kind of a little bit wonky, because like they averaged out what it costs the average student to do like a 4-year degree, and then like average income for certain positions and stuff like that. So, so the science in it, I think, is kind of wonky, but in any case, it's a basic sort of guideline on the 8 careers to, I guess, avoid if you want to make money comparable to what you put in to get your college education. And it starts, number 8 on the list was sociology. And I find that really interesting because I know a lot of people that did things in the field of sociology, like being social workers and things like women's studies. I kind of compress in with sociology as well, because it's kind of the same thing. One of my friends in particular has her master's degree in in sociology and women's studies and works in a call center in Alberta.
Wow.
And it's just like, and it's not. I'm not making fun of her. I'm simply saying. Well, maybe a little bit, but but what I'm more so saying is like, it's such a crime that you have so many highly educated and highly skilled and available people that are either overeducated or there's just no openings in certain careers, and it's kind of unfortunate.
Well, it's true. I mean,
like you have 12 university degrees.
I tell you, I'm just swimming in the degrees.
You put them all out on your bed and you just wade into them. Like, there's all my degrees.
Here's all my bachelors, but they don't mean crap anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Because bachelor is like a form of high school.
It you know what? It kind of is in a way.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's looking for the masters now.
It seems that way, but then even there, in the case of my friend, you get your master's, and they're still like, nope, not good enough. You go work in a call center now, and it's just like, I hate you so much.
I clean?
I clean now. Number 7 is fine arts, and this one really makes sense to me because it's just like, if what you absolutely positively want to be in your life is a painter,
I guess. I mean,
I don't know why you would go to university for that. Why wouldn't you just kind of...
You watch the guy on the public access channel.
Exactly. You watch Bob Ross, and you adapt his style.
And you're like, do I paint the penis?
Am I supposed to paint the penis? Am I supposed to conduct with my penis? Good old Family Guy quotes.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, that'll get us not monetized.
Oh
no. But yeah, so fine arts kind of made sense to me. Like if you're going to university and investing in a career in drama, like, probably not the best idea.
Probably not the best idea.
Although I do know a couple of people who have successfully parlayed degrees in music into fairly successful careers. Not necessarily as recording artists, but as, like music teachers and things like that. So, I mean, and we're not saying in any of these things that, like, they can't work, because sometimes they do, but it's just the ones that seem to be harder to make them work. And here's the one that really, it hits me right in the feels. Right in the feels. Number 6 was education. Don't I know it? So apparently having a teaching degree is apparently considered not a very good return on an investment. Now, it's slightly better in Canada than it is in the States, because not only is a university education in general less expensive up here, but teachers make more money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you also have to have a job.
You do.
Before you make any money.
And the ones that got the job are not going to leave it.
Exactly. The ones that have the jobs, or it's that either they're not going to leave it, or they're going to leave it and then they're just going to keep coming back and substituting as many days a year as they possibly can, more so than should affect their pension, but there's some money going under the table there as well. Who said that? Or you have school boards and systems that when teachers retire, they just don't refill the position.
True.
They just get rid of the position entirely and spread the rest of the classes out amongst the remaining teachers. That's a great way to save a few bucks, but make classrooms that much bigger.
Yeah, I know when we were going to school, I mean, the big classes did not work for me.
No, and
it's hard to learn in them.
And in general, we didn't have big classes.
We didn't, no.
I mean, it would be, a big class is like something that you would see kind of in intro university courses. But in general, I mean, when we were in high school, a class of between 25 to 28 was a very rare occurrence. Like we usually would only be like 20, 21, and something like that. And now in the smaller schools, you see class sizes getting smaller because like when I go and sub at a small school, like you see a lot of classes that are only 15, 16, something like that. But if you go to like bigger schools in larger areas, like in Halifax or what have you, the class sizes are big, and they're only getting bigger with the things that school boards are deciding to do.
That's insane.
A little bit.
School boards, you're messed in the head.
Yeah, you're messing up. You're dropping the ball, son. You're dropping the ball. But yeah, so teaching winds up at number 6 on that list of, again, college degrees with the worst return on the investment. Number 5, religious studies and theology, which I can understand because the only real way you're going to be making a lot of money with a religious studies degree, if you're not going to teach it, is
preach it.
If you're not going to teach it, you're going to have to preach it. Very nice. That was good, sir. It's to become like a high level member of the church, right? Like, I mean, like basically having your own church and being a pastor is like the only way you're going to be able to get anything.
And then you can open up a new form of Christian mingle.
Exactly. Pastor Paul sets you up. .com. .org. Don't go to CraigsList. Go to Pastor Paul's list. Good, wholesome women who won't put out until after the ring's on their finger. Exactly. Complete antithesis to the 21st century. But anyways. I just said that away from the microphone. You probably still heard me, though. So religion, religious studies, theology, things like that. And I know a couple of people that went the religious studies route in university. And again, nothing against them if they want to continue to establish sort of their own faith and everything like that. Perfectly fine, but you're not going to make a ton of money at it. Number 4 on the list was tourism and hospitality, and which is kind of interesting to me because like the school that I went to is very big on tourism and hospitality. Like it's its own program, right? You looked like you were going to start saying something, and then I cut you off. Well,
it's kind of odd that I see tourism and hospitality here, because I mean, tourism. Take Halifax. I mean, tourists come into Halifax all the time,
right?
I mean that's a part of the overall revenue that Halifax gets from tourists.
Right.
And hospitality, I mean, that can be a number of things like, I mean, airlines, you got waiters or the people in the hotels that make the bed and shit like that. So, I mean, that's kind of weird to see it on this list, that it's one of the worst degrees on the return for your investment.
Yeah, and it's again, we should mention the farther we go in this list, the worse that the return on investment is. So basically what that says is you have a higher ROI based on these guys' formula by going into sociology than you do by going into tourism and hospitality, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me, I guess.
Make sense.
Although we have someone we went to high school with who did the tourism and hospitality and is doing tourism and hospitality, currently in the process of setting up our 10-year high school reunion. So we should try to have her on the podcast and see what her opinion of that is.
Nice.
See, we're getting guests all over the place.
This is going to turn into a couple episode
it may. This
segment.
This may become a story arc. Right?
I tell you.
Number 3 on the list is nutrition. Now, that one I completely buy. That one I 100% agree with.
It's true because people can learn this themselves.
Oh, so easily.
I mean, the internet is a wonderful thing and full of nutritious information for you.
There's a nice little pun there, sir. That was a tasty pun. Oh.
I mean, everything's out there that you can learn.
You're absolutely right.
To be healthy and to eat nutritiously, and it's just not needed.
And at the same time, it surprises me to see, like, working in the bookstore, to see all these books that come in on nutrition and things like that from these people that have doctorates in this, like doctorates of nutrition.
Oh yeah,
like the guy that's behind the Fatkins diet.
Yeah,
it's not Atkins, it's Fatkins.
Oh, I know.
Doctor, or just so many of these people that come up with these diets, these fucking fad diets, all seem to have doctorates of nutrition. And it's like, did you really have to have a doctorate in nutrition to be qualified to tell somebody, yo, there's good carbs and bad carbs?
There's good carbs and bad carbs. And
I can find that on Wikipedia.
I know. And I mean, it's stupid. I saw one show that's like, one substitute is either to eat sugar or even sniff vanilla, because it makes you like it makes you think that it's full. Well, that's good and all. I mean, it tricks the brain, but
right.
In a cellular level, you're kind of starving yourself because you're not getting the necessary nutrients that the body needs every day.
Exactly.
So, I mean, some of these people are just full of shit in my mind.
Yeah, exactly. And it also ties into, like, the more of these people that come out with their fad diets and their fad ideas, the more they influence armchair nutrition experts. And I have so many of them on my Facebook. Oh God, would I ever want to drop names right now? I'm not going to, which I should, but I'm not going to. Justin, don't do it. But I have so many armchair, don't point your fucking finger at me, sir. I have so many armchair nutrition experts on my Facebook page that are just like, every status they do is just like, are you still eating fast food? What are you, a fucking atheist? Like, just militant. It's like, I read this book by a person that's got a doctor. Sorry. As I was making fun of my armchair nutrition experts, Nick pulled his microphone out of his mic stand, which is actually really funny because I did that earlier and I played it off like a boss.
Nice.
Professionalism on the No Holds Barred podcast. We know it.
I'm back in.
All right. You're back in the game, son.
Back in the game.
But yeah, all these, again, these armchair nutrition experts that just like, you shouldn't eat fast food. You still eat meat. Veganism isn't weird. Veganism is amazing. And if you're not a vegan, you're a bad person. And this person with a doctorate said this about wheat. And it's just like, do you really need to have a doctorate to know that if you eat vegetables, you're going to be healthy? As long as you eat things in moderation, and like you can live very healthy off of not having to go to school and get a fucking degree about it.
Oh, true.
But and like I say, the more people that sort of go the nutrition route, the more of these armchair jerk-offs that they're going to fund. But in any case, nutrition comes in at number 3 on the list. Number 2, and this is one that surprised me too, psychology. I can kind of understand it, because if you have an undergrad degree in psychology, there's not a ton you can do with it.
Right.
You have to continue. You have to move on and do like a master's and maybe even do a doctorate to be able to do something like having your own practice or something like that. Sure. But when I think about all the messed up people that there are in this world, people that not you, sir. You're normal. You're normal. You're just a little awkward. But just like all the screwed up people in this world for whatever reason it is, and it's not 90% of the time it's not their fault that they're messed up. Something along the line caused them to be this way. But when there's so many people in the world that are messed up and in need of help, it really surprises me that psychology comes in there at number 2.
Yeah.
Because it would seem to me that would be like, mental health is such a profession that should sort of be on the rise, you know what I mean? But the fact that came in at number 2 was kind of surprising. And again, like we said, it may very well be a reflection of the fact that you need so much schooling to be able to do anything with it. That maybe it's a reflection of that. Although I do know a number of people that have psychology degrees that don't do anything with them.
No,
that have nothing.
Yeah.
One of them worked as a clothes sorter at Guy's Frenchies.
Really?
Yeah. It's like there's a certain psychology to taking the stained underwear out of the new shipment.
I guess.
I don't know. But that didn't come in at number 1. And the one that actually came in at number 1 was probably the most depressing one on the list.
It's kind of odd.
Number 1 was communications, and we're talking about things like writing and broadcasting and things like that, which really, really bums the crap out of me because that's like my idea of like the backup career. If the whole teaching thing doesn't work out, I was like, maybe I'll go into broadcasting. Broadcasting's number 1 on the list of careers that don't get into if you want to make any money. It's just like, God damn it. But like communications really surprises me because that could even branch out to things like international translators and things like that. People that are actually in demand in the kind of world that we live in, where you have such a mashup of cultures and things like that. Knowing languages or being able to translate into other languages is a real asset. So the fact that communications came in at number 1 kind of blew my mind. I was expecting education to come in at number 1. But I'm bump. But yeah, so communications comes in at number 1. And like I kind of hinted to there, if the whole teaching thing for me doesn't work out, broadcasting really was going to be like sort of my next natural step. But now after reading this, now I don't know. So it could be like,
who knows?
It'll be another 10 years of living with my mom. Just kind of going back to this whole psychology thing here, and maybe we'll end on this. I would love to go do the whole psychology thing just so I would have the opportunity to speak to a couple of girls that I think need help. I just think these girls need help. I'm speaking, of course, about Giovanna Plowman and Alyssa Rosales. And if you don't know who these girls are, good for you. Unfortunately, I'm going to spoil your life. The first one, Giovanna Plowman, is the teenage girl who famously sucked on a used tampon and filmed it and put it on YouTube. And the second one, Alyssa Rosales, decided to one-up that by quote-unquote losing a bet and having sex with her dog. And filming it and putting it on Facebook. What is wrong with people? Where, as a society, did we get to the point where something like that even crosses a person's mind, much less become something that they actually do? I don't get it. I don't understand. And it's like the whole purpose behind it, I guess, was to quote unquote get internet famous.
What's
internet? I'm internet famous. No.
I mean, internet. What? So people know who you are?
So people know who you are.
So even if it's something, they can't go back on the shit, man.
Exactly.
I mean, people will know it forever. I mean, you're going to be. This is you now,
right? It's not something that can be undone. No. It's like 10 or 15 years down the road when you're actually trying to, have a regular life. It's like your name is always attached to this thing that you did years ago, and
people on the internet don't let go of shit.
People on the internet are fucking vicious. Nothing. This, like, exactly. It's one of those things that will never be let go of, right? Like, no, even 100 years down the line, if the internet still exists at that point, we haven't all blown each other up. People will still talk about, like, hey, there's that one girl that fucked the dog on a YouTube or Facebook video, And it's just like, yeah, what a dumb bitch. And it's like, you're a dumb bitch forevermore. And there's always the possibility that like these things were staged and somehow like photoshopped or something, that it didn't actually happen. We were just trying to get internet famous. It doesn't make it any better.
No.
Doesn't make it one tiny iota better. But I would love to be the psychologist for these two girls and just sit down and just be like, the fuck were you thinking? How could, in what frame of mind did you possibly have to be in to think this was a good idea? And I understand that by talking about it on a podcast, we're lending credence to it in a way, because we're giving them exactly what they wanted. They wanted attention, and that's what we're giving them. And so yeah, I understand. So before anybody comes up with that argument, I already understand. I get it. But like this has to be considered a pandemic of humanity.
Yeah.
When something like this is considered something that can be done as an avenue to get famous. And like in a world where you have celebrities that will essentially do anything to get people to keep talking about them, that's a new fucking low for humanity. Like it's an absolute new low for humanity. And I'm talking about a humanity that within the last year made fun of that girl for drinking bleach and killing herself. It's still a new low for fucking humanity. So just, I don't know. Maybe somebody out there in internet land can explain to me why exactly this was thought as a good idea. Maybe it's just the fact that we're old men now, sir. Maybe it's just the fact that we're old men and we don't understand. I can't see how it's.
I don't think that's the fact, because I still got like a 6-year-old's mind, man. Just, God damn it, bitches be crazy.
Bitches be crazy. It's true. That's the overwhelming theme for this podcast, which is bitches be crazy. That's all we got for you this week, ladies and gentlemen, and that is the No Holds Barred podcast for this week, and we're going to hit you with all the stuff that you know and love to hear at the end of the podcast. youtube.com/user/noholdsbarredpodcast, the No Holds Barred podcast, or noholdsbarredpodcast@gmail.com on iTunes, twitter.com/NHB_podcast, ustream.tv/channel/noholdsbarred-podcast. What am I missing?
What are you missing?
Am I missing anything?
You're missing the hangout for the live stream for this particular episode. No,
I hit that. Check out the Last Fan Standing podcast on our YouTube channel as well.
There you go. Yes.
I feel like I'm missing one more thing. What am I missing?
He was a piece of shit, no good motherfucker.
I know.
French Canadian piece of shit faggot.
I'm sorry, Shiki. I'm thinking. Oh, do you want to be a guest on the No Holds Barred podcast? Now we have a way.
Fuck you, piece of shit.
That's too bad. I'm still going to offer it to you, even though you think I'm a piece of shit. If you have Skype, add...
I believe it's NHB_podcast.
There's a dot.
There's a dot.
Is there a dot or is there an underscore?
It's a dot.
It's a dot. NHB.podcast
I haven't
on
been
Skype.
on it for a while.
No, fair enough.
So I might not remember the password.
Fair enough.
Oh no.
If you look up and add NHB.podcast on Skype, do that, get in touch with us. When we're on the show, our Skype is turned on. So if you want to call us, if you're watching or you want to talk about something, give us a call on Skype. We'll have you on the show. We'll have a little chit chat on the podcast, and you get to become an internet star, just like the tampon girl and the dog fucking girl, but better. So that's it. I think that's all of our social media plugging, and I believe that's the end of the podcast. Final thoughts from Mr. Stevenson?
My phone's about to die, and I'm halfway down my beer, so we gotta sit down here until it's done.
Okay, no problem. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the No Holds Barred podcast, episode number 10. Thank you so much for listening and supporting us with our podcast. We've made a whole whopping 30-some cents, I think, when we looked. So we're swimming in the no longer existent pennies, and We will see you guys in 2 weeks' time with the next episode of the No Holds Barred podcast. Next week, catch episode number 3 of Last Fan Standing.
Should be fun.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Peace.
Oh.